Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Big Fry, and today we got a huge info dump from Fantastic Games, developers of The Day Before. They've done 4 exclusive interviews with Gaming Bolt, WCCF Tech, Every Eye, and VG Times. I'm going to have those links down below, but we got a lot of information. I'm going to go through each and every one of these interviews, and we're going to talk about everything that these developers have been saying. If you guys don't know what The Day Before is, it's an upcoming open world survival MMO. We've covered it in the past, and I've been a little bit more than skeptical about the validity of this game. It does look really good, but it's one of those too good to be trues. If you guys enjoy the content, leave a like on the video and consider subscribing. So Gaming Bolt right off the bat hits them with the question. They say it clearly has a strong PvE component given its setting, but what can players expect from the game in terms of PvP? Now they say the players have absolute freedom. They created a real world of the post-apocalypse, which is pretty interesting. Apparently there are tasks that you can complete with other players, or you can choose to lone wolf it if that's your thing. You can meet anyone and whenever you want, act as you want, cooperate with people, or rob them. It's your choice. And of course you can loot the defeated players. So I don't know if they're going to be doing this overarching idea of trying to like force people to kind of cooperatively work together. Chances are it's going to be more of like a Tarkov style where you have a bunch of tasks that you can get from different traders in the safe zone, and then you can go out and do them, and basically it's a PvP VE experience. And it looks like those tasks can actually be given to you from different inhabitants of the colony in the game. So there's one called Woodbury Survivor Colony, and it says you can not only communicate with other players, but also talk to the inhabitants, take tasks from them, and reveal more details about the world. They said they're also testing a system of reputation, so your activity will affect your progression in the story. And they say more information is going to be revealed in the future videos and posts on their social media. So we'll be sure to talk about all of that stuff as it starts to come out. They say the loot in The Day Before, how it's going to be tied into progression. They say there are no colored items of different values. Everything is real. Weapons act is in real life. A light bulletproof vest will only save you from a pistol. Boots will not give you protection from shots. So basically this is the question. Why is this going to be different from The Division? Because that's what everybody is talking about. How is this game different from games like Division? Because it looks exactly like it. It's not a looter shooter. It's a third-person shooter in a post-apocalyptic world, which I actually fuck with, and that makes me way more excited for The Day Before. This is really interesting stuff. They talk a little bit about the off-road experience or the vehicle experience. Basically, you need to keep an eye on your fuel, otherwise you'll stall out at the most inconvenient moments. They say that they've carefully approached the details of this game. Basically, for example, in order to fill up the fuel, you actually need to pick up a canister, really pour it into the tank of the car, same way the car is repaired. You have to get out of your vehicle to fix it. So they said the game's not only going to include ordinary vehicles, but also armored vehicles, which we did see in one of the first gameplay teases that they revealed. They say, just imagine, we're walking together along the lifeless streets of the city, and skyscrapers once filled with people hang over us. We have the best assault rifles, and then we suddenly see a running armored vehicle ahead that notices us. To deal with such enemy, you need a completely different approach. So that's pretty interesting. I'm very curious to see how you're going to be able to keep those vehicles. So if I find one, get one working with a group, like where do we park it? We're in the middle of this like abandoned, basically like New York City street. Where are we putting these vehicles? It's not like we're building bases like games like, you know, H1Z1. So I'm very curious how they're going to handle that. Now, one of the questions that was asked in this interview is how large the world is going to be. And they kind of skirt by it by saying it's a large open world. I really would have loved to see like the actual kilometers or the miles that this map is going to be. But one interesting tidbit, they do say that there are 0 loading screens. The focus is on the big city and its surroundings, but players will also be able to explore farms, vast meadows, small settlements, majestic forests, and snow-capped mountains. So I'm guessing the city is going to be the main attraction here, but the fact that they're not doing loading screens starting to sound a little bit ambitious, a little bit more than I actually initially thought. And one of the more interesting questions of this first interview was, let's talk about the footage that was revealed. Was it part of the actual game, and will the final game look like that? And they doubled down. They said that they're constantly improving the game, including graphics and animations. Every week, our team makes new breakthroughs in order to give players the highest quality game. So they're saying the final game is going to look much better than what we've already seen. So They're hyping this game significantly. And one for my console players, they say they are considering next-gen consoles, which would be pretty interesting. They kind of make a joke about not porting it to the NES, but they are considering the Xbox Series X/S and the PS5. Now, one thing I will say, and it's kind of a pattern among all of these different interviews, is they are very flamboyant with their words, and you can tell that it's very much marketing PR speak. One of the questions here in the WCCF Tech questionnaire was, how long have you been working on the title, and with about how many developers? And their answer was almost 16,800 hours have passed since the first line of code was written. So by my calculation, they are approaching the 2-year mark on development time, which is kind of crazy to see something of this quality be made in this amount of time. They say that their team is approaching 70 employees, which is kind of small potatoes for a game of this caliber. When people are considering comparing this game to Division and The Last of Us, and we're seeing a team of 70 be able to put something out like that, it's not computing for me. But at the same time, the gameplay that we have seen, these guys are double and tripling down on it. I really don't know how to feel. That's not a lot of dev time for a game of this caliber, unless it just doesn't have a lot of content in it in terms of PvE. But they've also explained that there is going to be this large laboratory area where players can go and explore in a more PvE-focused environment, and we're apparently going to see more information on that in the future. In terms of number of players on the server, they're still not sure. They say they have a very flexible server system. They're still testing the best number of players for the best possible experience, so we don't quite have set in stone numbers for the amount of players. I don't know. I don't even know what I would want to see. I would love to see like thousands, but I don't know how big the map is. We're not really getting a lot of concrete numbers in all of these questions, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. Like, this is all kind of PR speak. I want to kind of get more specific. They say that weather changes are one of the several things that make the game's world realistic and unpredictable. So you can wake up in the morning, make a cup of coffee on your bonfire, and at night, if you're lucky, it starts snowing. The wind will muffle the sounds, and you can safely make your way unnoticed. So we are having dynamic environments, which I don't think we've actually seen in game yet. There is a screenshot here of them walking through like a snowy forest area, what looks like up to a cabin, but we haven't actually seen gameplay of that. Now, one of the more interesting questions that I thought that was asked in the WCC interview was, will there be a clan system? What about the ability to like claim a base and perhaps defend it against zombies or other clans and players? They say that they approached it in a different way, and they're going to show in their next video. So we don't even have an answer for that, but that's one of the most important things for me. I want to be able to group up with people, play this game, you know, with a group, and be able to do exactly what they're asking, and we still don't have any information, which is a little bit unfortunate. And one of the big things too here is they asked about microtransactions. Is there going to be cosmetic stores or anything like that? They say, as for the store, we don't care about that. It's not the main thing for us. The main thing for our team is to create the greatest MMO survival game of all time. They say there's a bunch of stuff you can do to like brighten up an apocalypse with weapons, cool skins, racing cars. They say it's cool. They're inspired by holiday events, concerts with stars in the survivors camp, new locations, new weapons, all that stuff. But for a store, they're not looking for that, which basically there's no microtransactions in this game, which is kind of also adding on to that too good to be true mentality. This is all sounding like the perfect combination of a game that I would want to play on this channel consistently with a group of people, content creators, and whatnot. This is looking really, really good. The other two interviews were in different languages, but they basically asked and said the same things. We're not getting a lot more information. That's the big tidbits out of all of this, but I want to know your guys' thoughts down below. Will this game be too good to be true? Are you excited for all of this? What to expect? What are you guys thinking? What do you want to see in a game like this? Leave the comments down below, and leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it or if you got any good information out of it. I'm going to be covering the day before as soon as any sort of information drops for it. This is looking like a very promising title if what they're saying is true. My name is BigFry. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.